Mr. Chairman and Senator Brasso, appreciate the kind words, and it's an honor for me to be here. You can imagine what it's like to come from Wyoming and come to the Capitol and be in this building, in this room. It's truly amazing to me. You know, the advantage of being further down the line after other testimony is to be able to maybe react a little bit. And a couple of things I heard was take land out of production. We've got to do different crops. We've heard that for years and years and years. I was on a federal water commission appointed by President Clinton 25 years ago to look 20 years into the future. What was water going to be like in 20 years? And the answer was always take water away from agriculture. Well, the reality is, here's the reality. I've heard the word unprecedented used more times than I ever had in one session, because that's what we're involved in an unprecedented situation. We also are about to do with agriculture what we did with manufacturing and let it go overseas. The numbers of food production coming into this country to take our markets has changed the fundamentals. And what our farmers and ranchers are trying to do is figure out how to be successful in the future. That's what my family, that started with my wife's great-grandfather trailing horses from Eagle Pass, Texas, to Wyoming in 1881 to raise horses for the Army. And we've been at it a long time, and we've seen the ups and downs, the 30s, the drought, the creation of the conservation districts. And in my perspective, representing the growers that grow every crop that's grown in the United States, every livestock that comes from this country is members of the Family Farm Alliance. And I can tell you the stress that our people are feeling, that's unprecedented, because their families are under attack. All you have to do is read the New York Times, LA Times, any of those newspapers who pick up on, we can solve everything by demonizing farmers. It's got to stop, because we are at an unprecedented lack of sustainability and replacing ourselves. And to me, the thing that breaks my heart the most is hear a farmer or rancher say to their children, don't do this because there's no future in it. And I've heard it too many times because of the economics, because of the water, and now with all the other inputs that we have. I do a lot of different things. I've been on multiple boards. I've been with the Family Farm Alliance for many years. I went to Glasgow this year in the climate meetings. I'm chairman of a group on migratory birds in the western states that, you know, we do conservation. Our valley is unprecedented in the amount of conservation we're doing. I spent 14 years building as a legislator, and then trying to permit a reservoir that saved our lower valley years ago. We're trying to build the second one. And what we need to realize is that there are impediments to our best wishes. This committee has a reputation for unanimous votes where people work together. That's been going on for a long time. We need a unanimous coordination of allowing the process to work. Storage is going to be critically important, and even more important in my mind on the Colorado River. I live 25 miles from the head of the Continental Divide is the forest. The forests are broken. And I'll give all the compliments I can to the Bureau of Reclamation, which I work with through the Alliance, but other agencies. I graze my entire operation in the National Forest. It is dead. It is not generating water. The headwaters of the Colorado River is not generating near the numbers of acre feet that it should be, because the forest isn't functioning. What we need to do is take the laws and the efforts and the dollars that have come through the recent infrastructure bills and put them into place. I spent Sunday with a major national group and some conservation people talking about how we redo the forest so that it generates the kind of water that it could. I spent last week with the Forest Service, the Nature Conservancy, on the National Forest walking, where I rode horses my whole life. An elephant couldn't walk through now. And we need to empower those people that want to do things to actually do what you all have said go do. That's the problem. We're not acting in the way that we know how to act, and it just breaks our heart, because we know what to do. Senator Larry Hicks from the Wyoming legislature is probably the best implementer of policy in the United States. I was with him Sunday talking about the frustration. And it may sound cynical, but what COVID has done in my world is we're prisoners of a bureaucracy that isn't functioning. We have to allow the system to function. And if there's one message that's coming from farmers, let us do what we do. we can't give up our production to the third world, which we are in the process of doing at the expense of the third world. There are food riots in Peru where we're raising avocados and taking their major crops here. We need to reverse that. The American agriculture is as powerful as it has always been. And again, my message about farmers telling their children don't farm because there's no future in it, we have to turn that around. That is as critical as anything that I can tell you. And when we look at the food crisis that we think is a Ukrainian deal, it isn't. It's much more complicated. It's been going on for years. And if we don't act, we won't have farmers and we won't have rural communities. This has been such an opportunity for me. I really appreciate it and be happy to answer any questions. I did want to mention one thing about Goshen County, Senator, and that's the infrastructure that had to be replaced was built in 1902, the Roosevelt administration, not Franklin. And that's the infrastructure part of how important it is that we really get down and do what we know how to do. Thank you so much.